name is Liz. I'm from England, as you might be able to tell. And I've had absolutely fabulous results from Atlantis Scalar Energy work, which Elisa has performed for me. And if that's something you're interested in and considering, you might like my story. So, as she recommends, I had energy repair, protection and enhancement first. And that really did fundamentally change who I am as a person for the better. Just to give you a bit of background, I was the geeky girl in the back of the class who struggled with dyslexia and whose education was really hard work. But I was very determined and I passed my exams and I went to university, got a good classification in a business studies degree and went off to do marketing for some really big brands. And I ended up so far in my career being an associate dean for a huge university and being part of the senior management team. And now I freelance from time to time, earning really good substantial day rate for what I do. Now, if you'd have told the 18-year-old who was so worried and so anxious about life that I'd achieve that, I think I would have been overwhelmed. That has been such a lot of effort to achieve that. And along the way, I've made some wonderful friends and met some extraordinary people, but I kind of run in a peer pack that is striving. People who are really looking each few years to climb the career ladder, earn more, take on more responsibility, and be very driven and live in a very stressed world. And I think I was pursuing that at the cost of everything else in my life. I'm very lucky that I have a loving, wonderful family. I have relatively good health. And I was commuting for at least 3 hours a day, working very long days. And it was detracting significantly from my life. And even though I rationally knew all these things, I couldn't kind of subconsciously get past this overwhelming drive to keep going on this quite stressful and damaging path of forever wanting something more from my career. And as soon as I had the energy work, I felt so much more at peace with who I am and what I've achieved. And the needs and the irrational drive just kind of slipped away. And I was kind of being human and doing some other irrational things, nothing too terrible. But I was emotionally eating. I am a big girl, as you can see. And I was emotionally shopping. Buying things that I didn't really need and buying large quantities of them, and all that has faded away. And I feel so much more positive about life, and that life is full of exciting choices, and that I don't need to do all this very driven career stuff unless I really want to. And life is so much bigger. Now, you might not think that's a huge transformation, but that's fundamentally shifted who I am as a person into being someone who is really committed and enjoying life in a way that I couldn't really feel that I would have achieved in any other way. I've been in counselling for about 9 months for a variety of things, and after 9 months I'd nowhere near achieved anything as big as this. So I really do feel it sent me on a different path and a different trajectory in life, which is so much better. So and that has probably taken, I think you need to be patient with this work. It wasn't completely overnight. It probably took about 4 months to come to this point, but I'm so much better as a person for that. And because that had gone so well, I decided to take Elisa's service in terms of weight management. And that's been extraordinary as well. I'm really excited. So let me tell you about that. So I've fought my way all my life. I was a big girl from being a child. I've tried just about everything, every diet. I've had expensive liposuction only for the fat to return. I'm the daughter of a very large retired doctor lady, my mum, so it runs in my family. And I always felt there was something more than just the food that I was eating that was causing my size. But my size has slowly got bigger and bigger each and every year, to the point where I feel it was possibly becoming a health issue. And I really didn't know what more to do. So as a bit of a last resort, I thought, well, let's try this energy work and see where that takes me. And I've had a couple of months of that now, but already fantastic things. So almost immediately, my weakness disappeared. So my eating weakness would be, I love what we call in England crisps, potato chips, flavoured. And I try and restrict them to the weekends. And rather than taking the big tube of Pringles, I'd have small packets to make them portion controlled. And you see, I was trying many things, but they were really hard, because I had years ago largely given up alcohol to try and help my weight. And I had unfortunately replaced it with crisps and chocolate. So while most people have an alcoholic drink on a Friday night, I would want my chocolate. That was my signal that the weekend had started. And so I'd try and restrict it to the weekends. But that meant I was eating Friday, Saturday and Sunday. And in a 7-day week, that's almost half the week. From the minute the energy work was done, my addictions to those foods overnight disappeared. I have never experienced that in my life before. I have always wanted to eat sweet things and salty chips. And now if I never saw a piece of chocolate or a crisp again, so what, really? And I'd never think I'd say that. And then, so that was the immediate effect. And then there was a bit of extra advice that Eric recommended, that you follow the obesity code for people who take his weight management course, and do some intermittent fasting. So that's about restricting your carbohydrate intake and trying to eat in a small window. I had tried that before a few years ago, and that was a bit of a struggle, but I managed it. And I have to say, in the last month, my hunger has just disappeared. It's really difficult to know whether your own hunger levels are the same as other people's. But I now realise that food had been such a large part of my life, and when I wasn't eating, I'd often be thinking about it, and that I could never really miss lunch or dinner because I'd just be too hungry. Now I can go hours and hours and even days and hardly eat anything. And to be released from that real drive, forever wanting and restricting your eating. And I do realise that I've spent my life wanting to be thinner, wanting to lose weight. And of course, what I've got back is wanting. And the energy work shifted all that. I completely parked all that and thought, well, I'm going to live and love my body as I am. And to not be hungry, to not be so driven by food, has just started changing my shape. I know this is a pretty long road. It's not going to happen overnight. And I wouldn't want it to, because people would start questioning whether I was ill. And I've noticed, that my clothes are loose. When I put my hands around my body, I can feel that I'm getting smaller. Oh, and that's so wonderful. It's been such a long time since I've had any serious weight loss. And it's just life affirming and joyful to be of sound mind, to be losing weight, to be looking forward in my life. And the only thing that's changed, the only significant difference, has been the energy work. So I'm going to keep going. I'm so grateful for Eric, the Divine team, and Elisa for changing those things which were fundamental and important to me. And they may sound small, but they've been a radical improvement in who I am. And I hope you've enjoyed my story. Thanks very much. Bye.